Mike Tyson demonstrated, over the years, why he deserves a place alongside the gods of Olympus. Although his career was filled with scandals and controversies, when he stepped into the ring, it was impossible not to notice the great boxer he was, not only defeating his opponents, but also ending their aspirations and careers. Welcome once again, adrenaline enthusiast. At Boxing Pure, we invite you to take this journey with us through some of the worst humiliations that those who dared to challenge the great Iron Mike experienced. Grab some snacks, a drink, and get comfortable. The journey is about to begin. It was 1985, and Mike Tyson had already become a beast to be reckoned with in the ring. Only 3 of his previous opponents had managed to survive the first round against him, and the big question was whether Donnie Long had any real chance. It was expected to be the fight that would prove to the rest of the boxers and the fans that Donnie Long was back. But it would be something that wouldn't last long. The referee for the night was Frank Cappuccino, who would be fortunate to be able to go home early. At 27 years old, Donnie had a record of 15 wins, with 10 of them by knockout and 3 losses. Tyson, at just 19 years old, had a smaller but flawless record of 8 wins by knockout, without ever being defeated. The opening bell of the fight rang, and Tyson went straight to work to finish Donnie.
Try and test Donnie Long with.
Shortly after it started, he threw a punch that, if not for the ropes, would have sent Long out of the ring.
Long is 27. Oh, wow!
Donnie got up, but it was a foregone conclusion. Tyson attacked him so aggressively that he surely regretted his decision to continue the fight. Long ended up falling to the canvas a couple more times, needing assistance from his team and on-site paramedics to help him get up.
As Tyson comes out with a strong right-hand barrage again.
This is as bad as I've ever seen Donnie Long look, but give Tyson credit, that's it.
It seems that the return of the Master of Disaster lived up to his name, but not in the way he expected. 10 years later, Tyson would continue to demonstrate why he was a beast in the ring. This time, his prey would be Buster Mathis Jr., a young prospect from a sports family well known in the sports world. However, Mike was about to show him that no matter who your father was, in the ring, the only thing that can guarantee you a victory is your fists. The fact that Frank Cappuccino was announced as the referee should have been taken as a bad omen for Mathis Jr. It seemed that everything was repeating itself, although now Tyson was a bit older than Donnie Long was back then and had to prove that he was still in top form. Buster was 25 years old and had an impeccable record of 20 wins, with only 6 of them by knockout and no losses so far. The world saw great similarity in him with Tyson, but Mike was about to show how different they were. Tyson's record, at 29 years old, had risen to 42 wins, with 36 of them by knockout, and although he had been defeated once, Tyson was not willing to let that stain on his record continue to grow that night. From the opening bell, it was clear that there were 2 true warriors in the ring. It was evident that it would be a battle of titans. Physically, they were very similar, but Tyson would prove that his experience was not in vain.
Hang inside. We'll see what happens when he gets hit, though.
Body punches. There's a shot by Mike Tyson with the left.
You know, Buster said I have to get his respect early.
With less than a minute left in the 3rd round, a flawless and powerful uppercut left Buster so confused that he forgot his guard.
Pivot. Swing around on your opponent's side.
Thus, one of Tyson's powerful combinations, already well known at the time, sent him directly to the canvas. The referee began the safety count, and Mathis Jr. tried to get up, but there was nothing more to be done. He was out. When Tyson agreed to fight Tony Tubbs, he felt so confident that he came across as quite arrogant. He had fought only 25 times, winning 24 of them, with 15 of his victories by knockout. He had been defeated only once, and he didn't think someone like Tyson could repeat that moment. Anyone would think he had lost his mind. By then, Mike still hadn't been defeated. His record had extended to 33 wins, with 29 of them by knockout. He was proving to be a truly unstoppable machine. Not all hunches deserve to be followed, and the one that told Tony Tubbs he could handle a fighter of Tyson's caliber should have been ignored and buried deep in his intrusive thoughts. Tubbs hoped that experience would benefit him. At 30 years old, he thought facing an inexperienced boxer of 21 would be easy. However, that night would turn out to be humiliating. The bell rang and the match began. From the early moments of the first round, you could see Tyson's focus on victory. He was cautious, knowing that underestimating an opponent could be a colossal mistake, but that didn't stop him from moving forward. With less than 30 seconds left in the second round, Tyson threw a powerful left hook with no aspirations for it to be the finishing blow. When he saw Tubbs backing away, he thought nothing had changed, but Tony was only trying to reach the ropes to get assistance in staying on his feet, and a couple of steps later, he fell like an inanimate object.
He's getting shot. His body's broken up on him, Jim, and it's just as well he missed him with.
That innocent yet powerful punch had knocked Tubbs out of the fight. They had to assist him on the ring to help him get up, but his pride never recovered after that tragic night. If you think you've seen it all so far, wait until you hear about what Larry Holmes experienced. That night, not only was his pride wounded, but his career was buried. We continue our top with one of the fights that proved to be a tough challenge for the Great Iron Mike, where stubborn Tyrell Biggs refused to lose against the legend that we now know as Mike Tyson. It was October 1987, and from the beginning, there was talk of the slim chance that Biggs had to beat Tyson. However, it fueled the excitement among sports fans and created a huge televised event around the match. Biggs had a lot of confidence in his skills, and he gave controversial interviews where he claimed that Tyson wouldn't be a big problem for him. Everyone had heard and understood him. Now it was up to Tyrell to prove with actions what he had promised with words. He had a good record, with 15 wins, 10 of them by knockout, and no losses. But we know that the label of undefeated means nothing when you step into the ring with an opponent like the Great Iron Mike. Tyson entered the ring as a champion, as the man to beat, with a record of 31 wins, 27 of them by knockout, and no defeats. Being 5 years younger than Biggs, he had to prove that he had the technique to beat a more experienced fighter. Tyrell made sure to give Tyson a good fight, but with 30 seconds left in the 7th round, his downfall became more than evident.
That was a tremendous left hand.
Tyson nearly knocked him out of the ring, but he got up to continue the fight. With 10 seconds remaining, Tyson finished the job he had started just 20 seconds earlier.
It off. And 10 seconds to go in a round. There's a left hand. He's down again. It's over. It's all over.
Frank Bruno, at 28 years old, was another one who wanted to try his luck against the Great Iron Mike in 1989. His professional record was 32 wins, with 31 of them by knockout and only 2 losses. It seemed like he had everything it took to end Tyson's winning streak. Mike had won 35 consecutive fights, with 31 of them by knockout, but the difference was that he achieved his record at just 22 years of age. Tyson was significantly smaller than Frank, but he showed no fear. From the start of the fight, he was aggressive, like a caged beast ready to finish his prey.
Uppercut. Now Frank comes very slowly across the ring. He knows he's in with a bull. Tyson gets nailed with a left hook. Tyson looks wobbly as he attacks Bruno.
Bruno was the perfect rival to keep up with Tyson. He was another explosion of fury in the ring. He knew that if he wanted to beat Tyson, he had to do it quickly, before Mike did it to him, making the fight a true clash of titans from the beginning. Seconds passed, and Bruno already had 1 foot out of the ring, kneeling on one knee, trying not to fall completely to the canvas.
He's not afraid, hanging on. Bruno's already tagged with the right hand. And there goes Bruno for the first time in the...
Tyson was like a vial of poison, small but very deadly. And he would poison his opponent no matter how big he was. Bruno endured Tyson's punishing attacks until the 5th round, when his body could no longer stand firm and his pride was the only thing keeping him upright. His lowered guard left him in a vulnerable position, and Tyson's combinations found their target easily. The level of torture had reached such a high point that the referee had to jump in and place himself between them to protect a Frank Bruno who was standing on the ropes but not responding. It was evident Tyson had crushed his spirit, and only the shell remained strong. He had no strength left to raise his fists. Mike had completely drained him. A year before the massacre of Frank Bruno, in 1988, Tyson faced a 38-year-old Larry Holmes who was about to retire earlier than he had imagined. Holmes had a decent record, 48 wins, with 34 of them by knockout, and had been defeated only twice in his career. He had successfully defended his title in 20 fights, with 7.5 years at the top. But that was about to change. Tyson didn't have a modest record. He had 32 wins without a defeat, with 28 of them by knockout. 16 of those knockouts had occurred in the first round. He was an imposing figure in the ring. From the opening bell, Tyson was aggressive. He didn't fear his opponent's experience or height. Holmes was just another obstacle in his ascent to the top.
History books as one of the great heavyweight champions of all time. Has received the credit, but he was
Larry did a good job enduring Tyson's attacks until the 4th round, when his body gave in to Tyson's greatness. Commentators could only talk about the former Larry Holmes, who would have defeated Mike, but that night, there was no trace of him. A powerful right hook was what made Holmes end up lying on the canvas, and although he got up, he could be seen shaking his head multiple times in different directions. He had tested the great Mike Tyson everyone was talking about, and for him, that was enough to accept his defeat. However, the pressure to do justice to his legacy was so great that just before the safety count ended, he claimed to be fine to continue. Holmes gave it his all, but it wasn't much. He fell to the canvas a couple more times, and the last time left him completely out of the fight.
Larry gets nailed with the left hand, the right hand, digs to the body, goes to draw right hand, gets split with...
Now that you know these great moments from Tyson's career, we'd like to know which current fighter you'd like to see him in the ring against, in his invincible prime, the version that very few had the privilege to defeat. We have an endless supply of content recounting the best and worst moments of your favorite boxers to keep you entertained in your day-to-day life. Have a great journey.